Greetings, citizens of the Inner Sphere, citizens of the Imperium, you filthy clanners, and welcome to Let's Paint. I'm your host, Trooper6, and from the request of Cromwell, the Synth. Jump jets. We're going to be doing these Trooper6 style. And what does that mean? Well, that means you're going to need these 5 paints and black, so I guess 6, because I know when it comes to jump jets, the community seems to be, I don't know, not exactly divided on it. So most of them have told me that the smoke on these are going to be light and gray, whereas I've been doing them black. I prefer more of a grimdark approach. You know, I am primarily a 40k painter. And then, of course, I always figure, I try to come up with like a lore reason behind it, such as, you know, they have battle damage, the systems are failing, things like that. So it's a haggard jump jet that's going on. So we're going to do this, and then stay tuned for next week or for the next day. I don't know, but I'm probably going to paint both of these tonight. But this nice little shadow hawk that the jump jets are going to attach to. And I don't think we're going to go with any faction-specific paint scheme either. I think we're just going to wing it and go with something, because why the hell not, right? All right, so like I said, you're going to need these 5 paints. What do I use? I use Imperial Fist, Magma Droth Flame, Baal Red, Blood Angels Red, and Flesh Terrors Red. That's right. There's a lot of Blood Angels going on over here. Okie dokie. Now, I did not do this before, so shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake, 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 shake. All right, you make sure everything's pretty well shaken up. Oh yeah! Obviously, we primed this bad boy white. And you're going to open all these paints, more or less, at the same time. Have them all open at the same time, mind you. Not open them at the same time. If you can do that simultaneously, holy shit. You got some crafty hands. And if your hands can do that, whew, your woman is going to be very happy. Or man. Maybe that's how you roll. So when we do these streams right here, I am going to try to leave white. Right there. And right there. I'm going to try to leave those white, and then we're going to go kind of yellow with the rest. And basically, we're just going to bleed all the way down to the Flesh Terror Red. So you're going to have some yellow up here, then you're going to have some orange, and then the Baal Red, the Blood Angels Red, and the Flesh Terror Red to round it out. And then once that dries, we are going to dry brush with a matte black. So, without any further ado, let's kick this pig. Splish splash, I was painting a miniature. Break it down, say the net. And you don't want too much of a harsh contrast with it. What I mean by that is like, don't be afraid to let your white bleed in to the streams just a little bit. Just a little bit, you know. Give it some variation. You need it to look kind of believable. You know, at least a little bit. Don't be afraid if a little bit of white gets stuck in there. It'll be okay. It will be okay. It's when you get to the other colors that it won't be. Now, and we're not even going to clean our brush. We're going to dip right into that orange, and we're going to go lapping over the yellow. Kind of try to mix it in there so that you have a nice gradient bleed effect going on. And mind you, once you go over it with the black, it's going to kind of hide any of the imperfections that comes with a sloppy blending, because you're basically wet blending right there on the mini. All right. Blah, 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 blah. And you see, we're being pretty generous with it. Pretty generous. I'm even kind of dry brushing going up over the yellow. All right. And that's about it for that. Now we're going to grab our bow red. I'm going to go right about this deep with the bow red. All right. Blah, 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 blah. But the idea is to make it look like a natural bleeding progression all the way down the mini. As the closer you get to the hottest point, the brighter the flame will be. And then it even technically would technically go blue. And I've even wondered when people were suggesting that I go with the white and gray smoke, I was a little curious as to why nobody suggested that we go with, a blue glow. Nobody suggested that. I found that rather entertaining. I was like, really? We're not even gonna go with the technicality like 40K with your jump pack intercessors. You wouldn't exactly go with the reds and all that. You could, but most of the time people go with a blue. So I'm just curious as to why people didn't suggest that. But maybe it is because I decided to go with the red and they were just like, screw it. He's going to choose this color scheme, this kind of feel for it. So we might as well just let it happen and then try to give him some guidance down the line. All right. And then, of course, you can see over white just how dark some of these paints are. And we are going to have to give this some time to dry because this is all contrast paint, so it's kind of thin. And we're pulling it in here, so they're going to need time to dry before we can dry brush with the black. And then we'll have to slap that boy on there onto the base so that I can paint the mini. Well, I mean, I'm going to be painting the Shadowhawk before I put this on there. So let me not get ahead of myself and say that. But make sure this is nice and thick down there. I don't really want any white showing now. White would be okay up here, not so much down here. All right, all right, all right. And basically, there you have it. It really is that quick, that simple. Took what, about 7 minutes ish? And that was not counting the minute and a half introduction, so about 5-ish minutes to do all that. That's it, man. That's all it takes. So, with that being said, we'll have to wait for this to dry. And then when it dries, we can dry brush with the black. So when it dries, we will be back with the dry brushing. Until then, let's transition. Diddle-doo, 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 diddle-doo. All right, you fuckers. We're back. Matte black. Here we go. Thing is, yeah, it's dry. Contrast paints don't take that long to dry. You'll be fine. All right, so matte black. I'll even put it up here for you. That was a bit much. That's okay. Well, remember, we're doing this 757 style, the Trooper 6 style, so if you don't like the black, avert your eyes. And dry brushing technique, right? Get most of your black off of there. And start at the bottom. You'll be less mad. Start at the bottom and work your way up. Get however much paint you want on your brush. Get a nice comfortable start. And then there you go. Now you can work your way up the model. Up the model. All right. Oof. Sorry, I didn't realize my hand was focusing it out. So that was a little dumb on my part. But yeah, you're not trying to cover everything, of course. When you're dry brushing, you're just catching the top. Just catching the top. And then we can already see where the white is still showing through on some of these parts. Don't worry about that. If you really need, you can jump back with one of the paints and just dab a little bit in there. Or hit it extra with the black. It's okay. You will be okay. There's not technically a wrong way to do any of this. You just kind of have to find your own way in the galaxy and figure out what works for you, man. That's really it. Like anything. Figure out what works for you. Because, see, I'm not even going that heavy when I'm going up the orange and the yellow. We're not going that heavy with it because we want all that yellow and orange to really shine through. Remember, that is the hottest point. So there's not going to be as much black. But down here, there'll be plenty of black. Because now it's really fizzling out. All the fire is really fizzling out. So now we just have smoke and thunder. You know, it's smoker. It's smoker. So smoker. It's a good smoke. You could get out some s'mores and smoke a good time as long as you stay a while and listen. That was a terrible Kane impression. I know I was going for what's his face there, Connery, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna 180 that, or sidestep it, I should say, into Kane. And I didn't quite sell it, and you'll be fine. Shut up. So just a speck of white. It'll be alright. Alright, and there you go. There's your fucking tutorial. First tutorial in the bag. Look at that. Now all we gotta do is glue it onto the goddamn base. So when it comes to that, if you were paying attention like you should, I would suggest that you have your model painted already, separate from the jump jets. Alright? He is already done, as we just learned, because I've been jumping back and forth. So I'm pulling him off. He wasn't even put on by tacky. Alright? And then I'm pulling that piece off. I might as well throw that piece away. And as you see here, with models like this, they are left with some pegs. This is good. So all we got to do is pull this off of here. That's right. It's just a little paint cap with some tacky on it. Or some tack. Some tacky. It's a tacky tack. And you can already see which one is deeper. This is the deeper well. This is the shorter one. And so they would go right there. So when it comes to that, you're going to have just a little bit on the base that we would have to paint when it comes to base work. And I always go with the Armageddon dust. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this and we're going to take some Armageddon. And we're going to slap that all over the base. I didn't do it in this way last time. The first time that I ever did it, I didn't do it this way. But we're going to try it this way now. Alright, we're going to get it pre-done. And hoping that this doesn't ruin anything. I don't think it'll ruin Jack. But you never know. I'm an asshole. I'm an ass, and you ain't got to listen to me. But you did ask for the tutorial, and this is how we're doing it, so you better fucking listen up. If you don't like it, well, that's fine. I already took your money. Except there was no money to be had, but I took it anyway. While you weren't looking. Don't go and look now. I'm already out of your room. Your wallet is empty. Doesn't matter. It's gone. And we don't need to cover the whole damn base, because that would just be a waste of paint and time and energy. So, put the cap back on. And now you need some super glue. Super glue. And then you're going to put a little bit on the peg. And then we're going to put a little bit. I always go up the shaft. And there you go. And if you want some extra, I would say go around the inside of the rim if you want. Man, this thing is, whew, it is dead. This thing is dead ski. All right. And here comes the potentially headache-inducing, aggravating part of you got to line this up, and then you got to push down and hope you don't mess up all the paint that you just did. All right, there you go. And perfect. That's it. Perfect. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? And once that dries, then we can put it back on here, and then we can do some transfers onto that thing. And that's it. There you go. Officially in the bag. So thank you, Crom What's Your Nuts. Now that it's been like 30, 40 minutes since I started this. Thanks, man, for your request. I'm sorry I didn't get this out to you sooner. But still, there you go. That's how you do some jump jets in, I guess, a grim dark 757 Trooper 6 style. Hopefully you like it. If you guys don't like it, well, that's just too damn bad, right? Peace!